Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. It's time to have a look at a bunch of premium vehicles that are on sale for this weekend. First of all, we have some Hungarian vehicles on a discount for Hungarian Revolution Day. This is the BF109 G2, the BF110 G4, the Mi-24P, the Tigris, and also the Panzer Haubitz 2000 pack for Hungary. All of these vehicles are 30% off, so if you're interested in them, it's worth picking up now. And they're doing this because, as I said, of Hungarian Revolution Day. On the 15th of March 1848, an uprising broke out in Pest against the Austrian Empire, which at the time ruled the Kingdom of Hungary. The uprising was bloodless and achieved concessions from the emperor, who agreed to all of the Hungarian demands, granting them freedom of the press, civil rights, and also greater autonomy. The anniversary of this event is celebrated to this day as one of Hungary's main national holidays. So if you want to pick any of this up, I'll leave some links in the description to the packs, but also to the GE, since a lot of these are G vehicles. We'll also have a look in this video for the vehicles, and I'll give you a little review. And there's also another vehicle which is returning, which is the M728CEV, since it is the anniversary of the US Army Corps of Engineers. So that one's temporarily available once again for 8,200 Golden Eagles. Pretty pricey, but it's going to be available over this weekend from the 14th to the 17th. For the Hungarian stuff, they are also available on discount from the 14th to the 17th, so that's where you can check it out. So let's get into the reviews. Let's have a look at the vehicles. So the first vehicle on offer is the BF109 G2. This is basically the same as the one which is in the German tech tree, apart from it's not the tropical version, and the other part of it is it doesn't get access to all the same ordnance. At least it didn't used to. Maybe it does now. The G2 for me is kind of the pinnacle of the good old BF109 setup. One of the things about the BF109s is they're pretty maneuverable and also a very good speed. But as they go up in BR, they have a bit of a problem. Their engine can't keep up with a lot of other machines that kind of turn up. Whereas the G2 is kind of in a sweet spot where it feels really nice in terms of generally playing. So it uses the DB605A engine, which gives it a lot of horsepower. You also have a pretty decent armament, especially after the buffs many years ago to the 20mm MG151. So you have a single one of those and then two offensive ones right here. You can also get cannon pods if you really want, but they're not really needed at the end of the day. You also have a bunch of different bomb options for ground, then even an incendiary bomb nowadays, which is kind of funny. So for me, this vehicle actually is pretty good. It's one which sits at rank 4. You can do all of your dailies with it, all of your specials with it, and it's a pretty decent grinder. The problem is for Italy, the G55S exists, so I don't know why you would play anything else if you want a premium propeller aircraft, because that's just kind of the quintessential amazing vehicle. You also have the BF110 G4. Now, this is a BF110 which has so much stuff strapped to it, and it's just kind of ridiculous. It's a night fighter version of the BF110. The reason you can tell that is not just because of the radar, but also the exhausts. These exhausts were designed to be able to hide the kind of flames coming out of them, so therefore it would be a little bit harder for the enemy to detect where you were. This radar is the FUG 220. It's not very useful, especially since most of the time when it comes to War Thunder, you can usually see your enemies anyway, but it is a nice little addition, and also if you're interested in World War II radars, it is kind of fun to see. The major thing that this vehicle does, though, over the other BF110s, you have the DB605Bs that give you a decent amount of power in terms of moving this thing around, but it's the armament. The armament is crazy on this thing. So, first of all, you can add 220mm if you want, but you can also add a bunch of different bombs if you feel like, including 1,000 kilo, and then also you can add some rockets if you feel like it too. You also have the 2 500s, so in ground, you can do quite a lot of good stuff. But if you want to do it in air, you can bring this secondary loadout of 20mm, and then that means you have two 30mm MK108s, so those are the low velocity 30s, which kind of suck, and then you have two 20mm MGFF/Ms, which are the earlier 20mm from Germany, and then you have another two 20mm MG151s, and then another two 20mm MG151s on top of it. So you don't really need these extra secondary 151, the 20mm, but it is kind of funny to have. So you have all of these guns like kind of on top of each other, and you can see how they're set up in here, and it's just crammed. You can see the 30mm here in the front. They're much more stubby barreled. And then also you have these here. You also have a turret at the back. And then also the other set of 20mm are right here, because this vehicle gets Shrag music, which is really fun. So this vehicle is very much similar to that kind of Key 45 you have in the Chinese tree, where it's a bunch of the different things that BF-110s get kind of mashed together. So if you want that experience, and if you want something which is going to kind of give you different play styles and you can have a bit of fun with, this vehicle is pretty good for it. But once again, there are just better vehicles to play if you're looking for a general grinder. But for something to at least try different playstyles in and go for different stuff, this one's not too bad. I just wish it was a little bit more maneuverable as a vehicle, but at least at the moment, that is not the case. The Mi-24P is on sale. This is pretty much our only premium option for Italy. I don't think the Turkish helicopter is available, but if it is, the Turkish helicopter is probably better than this thing. At 9.7 though, this one isn't bad. Like, it has access to a lot of really nice stuff. It's let down basically by its optics and also its missiles being a bit short range, but everything else is quite good. You can see it has the CCI piece for the rockets, which is nice. It has the Klimov TV3 engines, and then also the transmissions. Has the 30mm GSH-30 2K, which can do quite a lot of damage. But yeah, the main thing you basically run this thing for is you are bringing the Sturm missiles, and then also you can bring the air-to-air stuff because this thing has R60Ms, surprisingly. But one of the other things is it's not bad at rocket rushing. So you can see here it gets the S8KOs. These actually pen quite a lot, and with the CCIP, it can actually work very, very well on specific matches. So the limiting factor of this is its missiles. The Sturms only have a firing range of 5 kilometers. Basically, that is still okay, but it's not good enough against a lot of the kind of AAs that you'll face around this BR, and you only get access to 4 of them. And if you want to bring more, you have to lose a pylon, which I'm sure many people would, but you also have kind of like the air-to-air stuff that you want to bring along too. So you either pick the air-to-air or you pick the 80 gems. I think most of the time you probably pick the 80 gems, but it's just kind of sucky that you have to kind of make that choice. You also have the funny guns. So these pods here, they actually have access to 2 7.62s and then 1 12.7 in the middle, which are not very useful, but they look cool and they sound cool. So, you know, that's always an interesting thing. It does also have an IRCM, and then also the HIRSS and all of that, which means it's harder to lock when it comes to AR stuff, which means that this thing survives a lot longer than it should. And it also has quite a lot of countermeasures on the back. So if you are getting locked by stuff, or if you are getting targeted, you can actually, you know, shrug off the things. The question is, can you get 5 kilometers within the battlefield and not get shot down while also firing off the 80 gems? Because this thing doesn't have any thermals, really. It doesn't have anything very good when it comes to its optics, as I said. So you have to get close, and not just because of the range of the stones, but to see stuff. So if you're able to do that, this thing is fantastic. If you're not able to do it, it's not very good. The Tigris is also on offer. This is one of the only, if not the only, heavy tanks in the Italian tech tree. So if you like doing those dailies where it's like destroy heavy tanks or destroy stuff with heavy tanks, I should say, or specials which are like that, this is going to be your only option. The Tigris is a Tiger E with additional armor. So it has the additional track armor, which is quite nice on the front of it. Covers some of the spots that, people can go through. It doesn't really stop people penning you, but if there is like a gun which is kind of on the limit of penning you, then it's not able to do it. The other thing is 6.0 is a fantastic BR for Italy. You have the Hellcat, you have the Vodsdika, if you want a bit of memes, and then also you have the Leopard 4070, and then also some good backup from some good planes. So the Tigris really fits in really well with that area, but it is just a standard Tiger E. So if you've played the Tiger E before, you've played the Tigris, and that is kind of the way it goes. I would actually say out of all of them that are available here, this one is probably the best in terms of other vehicles, just because of the fact that it is just a bog standard vehicle that will grind well and also will get you good research towards the high BRs and also be familiar to many people, which is nice. And yeah, it's Italy's the Italian tech tree's only heavy tank. Hopefully at some point that changes, because it's not nice having only one heavy tank across the board, but yeah, right now that's the case. The Panzer Haubitz 2000 HU is on sale. This one has the drip, but I can't show you the drip because I don't have it purchased. But basically, it has a really nice camouflage on it. So that's the main difference between this and the German Tech Tree one. It's a premium version of a pretty good SPH. I played the German Tech Tree one, and what we ended up doing is we did pretty good. Let's just see if I can find the stats for you here. As we go around. So we played 28 battles, 61% win rate, 64 ground kills, 22 deaths, and also 10 air kills, which is pretty nice. And basically, the reason for this is because it has this HEVT shell, and nowadays what you can do is you can change the shell from either being an impact fuse or a radio fuse, or proximity fuse, I should say. So this just makes it so much easier to use this vehicle, because you can quick switch between the rounds, so you don't have to reload a round in the breach and then fire it, which is one of the problems with these types of things. It has one of the best reloads of all the SBHs. It has insane mobility for how big it is. The mobility is crazy. And yes, its armor is absolutely terrible, but that's like all SVHs. The idea is you want to get the shot off first before getting hit. The other thing this thing also has, because it has a good reload, you can actually effectively use the smoke, and since it's such a large smoke, it covers quite a lot. You can see here the radius of it is 21 meters, which is just pretty nuts. So that helps it out quite a lot. I actually would recommend buying this thing. I feel like it's probably going to go 50% off later in the year, so I'd probably wait for that. But this vehicle is actually super fun, and it's one of those SPHs that kind of conquers a lot of the problems that many of the other SPHs have, which is the simple fact that they're usually not mobile enough, or they have bad reloads, or anything like that. Now, the reload itself is only for 2 pieces, but for the first stage. But just understand, when it goes to its second stage, I think it's like 6.5 seconds. So it's really not anything that bad. It's not as if it's really screwing up over the reload. The other thing this gets, which is its crowning achievement, is the laser rangefinder. The laser rangefinder basically means that you can always be accurate with this, and you can aim for weak spots all the time. And one of the things about this HE, because it's so big, it overpressures. So all you have to do is bonk a target in its weak spot, it'll go through and it'll nail it. And most vehicles, their weak spots are literally just shooting it in the face and they will die. So it is very good at what it does. And it's very fun because of that. Maybe a bit too fun. They brought the M728 CEV back as well. This is just a M60 with a funny donkey gun on it, and to be honest, it's not very good. The design of it is really cool because it's an engineering vehicle, and they used to have an advantage over other vehicles where it could repair everybody, which was really nice, but they gave that ability to everyone now. I'm pretty sure it repairs people at an accelerated rate, similar to light tanks, but still, it doesn't really matter in that way. The vehicle doesn't have access to the standard 105mm that the M60 gets. Instead, it gets the 165mm M135, which only fires Hesh. And this is just a donkey gun with a very long reload, and it's just a little bit of fun with a bit of memes. But the problem with it is around this BR, you probably want something that's a little bit more useful, and that's not what this is. This M60 also has the criminal problem of the M60s, this massive cupola, which Gaijin refuses to change, which basically means if this ever gets hit by anything with a decent amount of explosive filler, everybody just dies in the inside, which just completely sucks and has caused a lot of issues in the past. And then also it has the standard 750 and the transmission is standard too. Everything's standard basically apart from the gun and the scoop that is on the front, the dozer blade, which as we've found when it comes to vehicles like this, not exactly useful. So there are just a lot better premiums. This one, I suppose, it could be fun for some people. I've never been a fan of these vehicles, even with stuff like the Centurion Avery. I've been told that other people have a great time in it. I don't. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. So that's all the vehicles that are on sale. As always, I hope you have a wonderful day. I'll see you next time. I'd just like to thank GMG Smiley, CD Beans, Chieftain Mike, EMN3 Galaxy, Tulio Pontecorvo, Brendan Quinn, Carrion Crow, Gus Irenicus, Pyman, Wartinder, Teddy, Daniel Stanton, Martinez, B. Young, Ozzy Panzer, Alan Hacker, Liam Shear, Opium Prime, Lafouche, Sem, Aslan, Uncle Bean, and Derek R. for supporting the channel.